This is the Outlaw Mike Blackwell, Blue Collar Wrestling Alliance, and you are listening to the FTW podcast.
I gotta be honest, watching Kevin watch TV, not as much fun as I always thought it would be.
Shh. I'm looking at other things.
No, it's right here.
Okay, blah, blah.
Here it is.
Well then.
Big fucking loogie. What did we tell you? And he doesn't wipe it off. It hangs there, even when they come back. This is my win of the week.
Yeah, that is so bad it's good. It has to be.
Alright everybody, welcome to the FTW podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. I am Harrison. With me as always is Joe. Say hello, Joe. Oh man. Kevin. Say hello, Kevin.
What's up?
And our producer Garvin. Say hello, buddy.
Team Beard.
Team Beard. Rob is the other guy in the show, I just remembered, and he is not on this week because of...
Wow! It's been 7 days there for the other guy on the show.
Well, no, it's not like Rob hasn't been on since episode 3.
Since before Kevin.
And or me. Somehow.
Yeah, well, look, we make fun of everybody when they're not on the show. We'll just chalk that up to that one. How's that sound? That sounds pretty fair to me. All right, first thing on the docket is Impact Wrestling. Garb, why don't you talk to us about the highest rated Impact in the history of the show? 2.2 million viewers, second only to Jersey Shore, right? Think so. All right, take it away, Garb.
Yeah, this was the follow-up Impact, the show that basically led us to the next chapter after Bound for Glory. So regardless of how that show played out, it was the biggest pay-per-view of the year. Everyone was tuning in just to see what was going to happen next. We were introduced to the future that sees Dixie Carter back in the driver's seat, who decided to do the opposite of what Triple H did and gave the show to Sting as the general manager, of sorts, I guess. And basically they spent the first 40 minutes in a nonstop segment.
Most of that show was just segment.
It was 3 matches. Well,
yeah.
The world title, the World Heavyweight Championship match was half a match. So 2.5.
Match.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it was bad that they spent that much time on it. There was a lot of good things that came out of it.
I would say it's not good.
No, it was boring.
It seemed like they spent 40 minutes. They seem like they do what I do. Spend 40 minutes to tell something that could be easily done in 5.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
And a few things, a few important things that happened. The first was obviously Dixie's back. The second, Sting was named the general manager. He has full control over Impact Wrestling. And Hogan obviously is a complete face now, and everyone loves him, and he probably got the biggest pop of the night up until the end. So, yeah, what we should have seen was the build-up of Robert Roode versus Angle, because Roode was screwed out of the title at Bound for Glory, but instead there was a contractual problem that Roode couldn't have a rematch. So instead, Sting booked the main event, which was James Storm versus Kurt Angle for the title, which on paper sounds really, really nice. The only problem I think anyone had with the opening was that it took 40 minutes. It was three commercial breaks, I think, during it.
Yeah,
no action, just talking, and
it was grotesque.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I get why they did what they did, and they could have done it so much quicker. I mean, okay, I get the spin on Bobby Roode not being able to fight again. Sting's like, okay, well then fucking James Storm gets a shot. Cool. But, like, they didn't need to spend like 15 minutes to do that. For that little bit.
Sure. But and hopefully it's a one and done type thing. You know, here we spend the first 40 minutes on pushing towards the next chapter, and now that we're in this chapter, we can just get back to what it should have been, which is, you know, wrestling. We saw no X Division because of this.
Right.
We saw still more Hogan versus Immortal later on in the show, but one group actually made out pretty well on the show, and that's the Knockouts division. You know, we saw the Knockouts Tag Team Championship defended. A great match. It was the opening contest, 40 minutes in, but it was a fantastic match, and it earned the impact of the night, which is surprising considering it was the first match. But I guess that's how
they knew it
was
coming. Yeah, they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And yeah, you said, man, it was a great match. And then we go from that to the Jeffs getting into another scuffle. You know, Hardy and Jarrett.
That's the worst sitcom ever.
You know, and I don't really mind it much.
It's like a bad episode of Three's Company, except they're fighting. Yeah. There's two dudes and one chick.
Yeah, I don't really mind it as much because it's proved to be a lot better than Kaz versus Jeff Jarrett.
Barely.
But there's a definite disconnect between what TNA and Jeff Jarrett think is going to work and what actually works, because when this happened at Bound for Glory and, you know, this week on Impact Wrestling, the crowd was pretty quiet for that. What they did pop for was D'Lo Brown and Al Snow getting involved, both at Bound for Glory, and then the huge pop when it looked like they were about to fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that really says about the Jeff Jarrett, Jeff Hardy thing, but...
See, the Jeff Hardy thing, it just seems like every time we see him, someone's telling him, yeah, this is what you should do. Like, it's a bad intervention. Like, anytime we see him in a backstage segment, it's like a bad intervention.
Yeah.
A very slow, drawn-out, bad intervention.
Yeah, and it's not interesting, and I think we're all tired of it. But, you know, besides all that, obviously the big news of the night, well, there's two things. First, Gail Kim's return. The company. That was great to see because she's been put into a prominent role, which we haven't really seen her do anything for.
Yeah, and her top almost came off, so that's cool too.
Yes. And the last piece was James Storm defeating Kurt Angle to win the title under 5 minutes. I think the only offensive move was, you know, the finishing
super
move,
kick,
which was the super kick.
Yeah.
They celebrated in the ring. It was Fortune and in the crowd. The only time I've seen joy from the Impact crowd in the last couple of months.
That's because he was pouring beer into people's mouths.
Sure.
Hey, Steve Austin made a career out of that.
Well, yeah, but he didn't pour it into people's mouths. He poured it in his own mouth. James Storm's going out there. He'd pour some in his own mouth. Right, but immediately he runs out to the crowd. Then he's got to come back. And did you see the ring filled with beer bottles when they were done? Oh my god! Like, get the man a can.
Yeah, it was a huge waste of beer. I agree.
Yeah,
huge waste of beer in bottles. Really?
Okay. I did have one thing I wanted to bring up about Impact, and that did you guys want to talk about maybe that this being a oh shit we gotta tie up all this stuff and move on show, because 40 minutes of segment, that doesn't seem like it was.
Well, that's what I meant in the beginning. You know, it was good that they got all of that out of their system.
It doesn't seem like
hopefully that's it. And then
I know, but it feels, doesn't it kind of feel like they came up with this the day of? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't seem like it was...
Definitely.
Welcome to Impact, dumbass.
Yeah, but even still, definitely. I mean, I think they completely scrambled. They totally overreacted with the James Storm thing. And, yeah, I think they were like, okay, we didn't clear up any shit that we needed to, so we're going to just waste half the show and get it done with. Which, okay, but it still sucks.
Yeah, I mean, this is when I was confused about it. If you guys were watching it, we're thinking, you know, this seems like, you know, we got this situation we got to get out of. We don't know how to get out of. Let's just talk our way out of it. All right, let's move on to SmackDown with our SmackDown correspondent live from Detroit, Michigan, Joe. Taped on live for us, taped for you guys over the Joe SmackDown.
SmackDown entirely was just a build-up for the pay-per-view Vengeance.
Right.
It really was. There really wasn't a whole lot to it, other than they did announce that Zack Ryder was going to be able to compete for the U.S. title. Woo, 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 you know it. And they announced Sheamus vs. Christian. Better late than never. A few problems I have with this show. One, we had to see John Morrison get buried again. I don't mind John Morrison getting buried, but we have to watch him get squashed again. You've got other jobbers. Bring them out. Wade Barrett beat Daniel Bryan. Way to squash the guy with the Money in the Bank case. Yet again. Is he going to get a win again? Fuck if I know. He'll probably warm up near WrestleMania, or maybe he'll just keep failing and be the first guy to cash in Money in the Bank and not win.
That's what they're going for.
I hope not. But what can you do? Cody Rhodes pumps up his match with Randy Orton at Vengeance, and Orton ends up RKOing one of his baggers. They announced that Mexican legend Mil Mascaras is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, so woot!
Who do you think is going to induct him? Ray?
Tito Santana?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. Sin Caras? The Sin
Both
Caras?
of them come out.
I mean, by that time, they'll probably have a few more, so they can have... Oh, what if they had Sin Cara Power Rangers? Yeah!
Yes. A red one, a green one. I mean, the white one would be the only one that really matters, because he was the badass. He had a wolf, right?
Lion, I thought... But he was the green one originally. He had the dinosaur.
Yes, it was the green one.
Yes.
The green one was my favorite, because he had a
The
dinosaur.
fact that you guys know that much about Power Rangers is really, really sad.
Shut up, Kevin.
Isn't it, though? Hey, that Pink Ranger was hot.
Yes, she was.
Regardless.
She still is.
Yeah, she is. Blue Sin Cara beat Black Sin Cara in a mask versus mask match because they're in Mexico.
Do you think
That's
that was
why they had
rushed?
the match.
Whoopee!
Extremely.
Yeah.
That should have been a pay-per-view match, but apparently everyone says that, you know, and I agree, the match was bad.
Again.
Well,
At least they
yeah.
have to redo it.
It was their best match since joining the WWE, though.
Well,
Both
that's
of
not
them.
saying much.
Yeah, no matter what spices you put on a piece of dog shit, it's still a piece of dog shit.
Thank you.
Big Show beat Alberto Del Rio by DQ because Mark Henry tried to come in and Show stopped him to close out the show.
Here's the thing. Did it seem like Del Rio was getting a massive push, like a rushed push at SmackDown?
They were in Mexico.
Right.
They were going to hammer him
And
like nobody
then
business.
Vengeance happened. I mean, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but, I mean, looking at it, you're like, holy crap, this guy, you know, it was like they really rode that Mexican wave. No, I'm not going to make a pseudo racist joke there, but anyway, they really
Could have been on a door. But that's a Cuban. My bad.
they rode that Mexican wave over the river, over the fence, and all the way up to Texas.
I think it seemed rushed because they
Lucha Libre USA!
they had, you know, that 1 month where he had his visa issue, so they couldn't really do anything with him. I think that's why it really seems rushed, because they didn't have that time to really build him.
Yeah, but they could have done what they did with Christian and do video packages. I mean, I mean, it seemed like up until, I want to say, SmackDown of 2 weeks ago, you didn't see much of Del Rio. And yes, part of the reason is visa issues, but they could still do stuff. They could still do video packages. They could still, you know, have... I mean, Cena never mentioned his name. Every time Cena was out there, he was talking about, you know, everybody but The Rock. He was talking about Triple H. He was in the Triple H CM Punk feud. And then it just seemed like...
Well, but that's what was important at the time.
Right, but it was still this, you know, this main event match. Del Rio's got the title that Cena needs in order to go up against The Rock with at WrestleMania.
No. Well, but he doesn't need to go again. He's going against The Rock regardless.
Right, but Cena said that he was going to have the title and defend it against The Rock at WrestleMania.
Right.
So he has. So here's the guy holding the title that you apparently need in order to fulfill your destiny, and you don't even mention the guy's name up until I don't think he ever did. I don't think he ever really did mention Del Rio's name, maybe once or twice.
Well, regardless.
Yeah, anyway, it just seemed like SmackDown, they were just like, shit, we got to get this done. Here's Del Rio. All right, moving on to Vengeance.
Vengeance.
I do want to mention that in our speculation match, we did put Sin Cara Blue versus Sin Cara Black. We were right. We were just a few days early. Or no, a few days late. And in the wrong country. So, in fact, we were not close at all. The match happened. We were right about that. All right, so just run through the card. Air Boom won against Jack Swagger and Dolph Ziggler. We were right. Ryder took on Dolph Ziggler, and Ziggler won. Beth Phoenix defeated Eve Torres. Orton defeated Rhodes. Truth and Miz won against Punk and Triple H. Mark Henry beat the Big Show in the match that I wanted to see happen. And,
well, no, actually, that was a draw. That was a no contest.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because the ring went down. All right, well, anyway.
Yeah, but technically, Henry walked out.
I mean, Henry walked out
with the belt.
Right.
Yeah, Henry walked out with the belt, but it was a draw. Anyway, the match was exactly what I was hoping to see. And Del Rio defended against Cena. All right, thoughts on the show?
This was probably one of...
Stop. Winner, which I think is me, so let's go ahead and go back.
Okay, let's go through the tabulation. Kevin, you are right. You do have the most with 6, along with me.
Oh, damn it!
So I take the lead with 7 correct pay-per-views. Kevin, you are creeping up on Rob because you have 4. Rob has 5. And Joe, you are languishing behind me at 6. Garvin, still tied for last place with Scott.
Yeah, I failed pretty hard on this show.
You did really bad.
Which match did I say that I was glad I picked the opposite of Garvin?
I
can't remember. I just want to reiterate that fact as to me winning and Garvin being in last.
I think it was Ziggler and Ryder.
Yeah, and totally pulled that one out.
Yeah.
So, but this is just to jump back to the actual show, guys.
Yeah.
This is one of the best pay-per-views they've done.
Wrestling-wise, yes.
Yes.
Wrestling-wise, this was so solid. This was a good pay-per-view. For a wrestling fan, this was a pay-per-view, WWE pay-per-view to see.
Yeah.
How good was R-Truth and The Miz?
It was great.
That was a fan. I was not expecting great things from that match because you had, CM Punk and Triple H, but damn, Truth and Miz, they did phenomenal.
Oh yeah, they really proved their worth.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Henry versus Big Show was an awesome match for 2 big dudes.
I know, right? It was the match I wanted to see. Ring was completely
you're exactly
destroyed.
right, Harrison. That's what we wanted to see.
Yeah. That superplex, awesome.
Yeah, I was just hoping for Lesnar to come out of that.
We all knew the ring was going to collapse. We all freaking knew it, and we still marked out when it happened.
And it stayed collapse.
Yes. Which I loved for the main event, by the way. I love that they did that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Cool.
Yeah, there's one thing to note. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it seemed like the crowd was pretty dead throughout most of the show.
Yeah.
It seemed that way during Twitter as well. But when Big Show and Henry broke the ring, that was the spot of the night. That was when everyone was on their feet. Definitely stole the show. It wasn't the match of the night, but it stole the show.
I thought the crowd was pretty dead during Rhodes and Orton, for sure.
Which was surprising because that, to me, was the match of the night.
Really? Rhodes did great.
So. I thought Rhodes carried Orton.
Yeah.
I just...
Totally.
Rhodes, he just continues to impress. On the mic, in the ring, it's really good.
Yeah, you guys were right. I'll freely admit I was wrong. Cody Rhodes, he converted me last week. He cemented me at Vengeance. This guy is phenomenal.
What was your match of the night then?
My match, Henry Big Show, because it was exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
That's mine as well.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like the two just said, okay,
let's leave it out there.
We fucked up the first time. We tried something, it didn't work. Let's give them what they want because we know that'll work, and they did. It was awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, Mark Henry, you got to think he was basically, his first championship defense, pseudo main event of the pay-per-view, kind of untested, and Big Show's coming off of a big, break. So you can't really expect too much from these two, and Kevin's right, man. They left it all in the ring.
And all the submissions that Henry did.
Yeah.
Like, it was a totally different Mark Henry, that match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's so sad that it's coming at the end of his career. Or not like the end, but like in the sunset of his career. If this was Mark Henry 5-6 years ago, holy crap!
Oh, we'd be talking about this. What's going to happen next? What does he have to do in the future?
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, and maybe he's got what, 2 years left?
Probably.
And it's like,
still, we can look forward to it.
Yeah, we can look forward to it. But it's like, man, why does his best times got to come right at the end? Beth Phoenix versus Eve Torres. Do we want to talk about that? Beth Phoenix did great, as predicted.
Yeah.
I thought it was probably the best Divas match that we've seen in a while, and it's amazing what you can do without Kelly and the Bellas holding the title. But that's not to say it was a good match. I think it was Medusa came out a couple days ago and just ripped Eve apart on Twitter for how bad she did. But that was probably the best I've seen of Eve.
No, I've seen better at it. I'm going to say like a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, Eve was getting up there. I mean, she was doing she was developing pretty well, and then she just stopped.
Well, that's what happens when you become adult. At some point, they just stop growing.
Stop blossoming. All right, nothing, Air Boom. Okay, well, fine. Last match, Del Rio, Cena, it happened. I didn't like how it happened. That's just me.
The ending was okay, but I think the problem with it was the logical endpoint as they did the match was when Cena was buried underneath the metal things in the interview area.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That would have been, if they would have skipped the ending itself that they actually did end on was fine. But when you bury him like that and he comes out without a scratch and he's just like...
Well, you had to have a Super Cena moment. It was a pay-per-view, come on.
Well, okay. Can we stop talking about the sarcastic Super Cena moment? It's exactly like when Hulk Hogan would Hulk
That's
up.
what it was, man. Did you see him? He's like powered out of all the steel and it's like, I'm Super Cena.
But is it any different when Hulk Hogan would Hulk up and then like Flair would be punching him in the head and he would just shake his head back and go, I ain't doing nothing, brother. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just
at least we got to see it on Impact, the finger point of doom.
Yes.
And the entire crowd goes, you! Oh. They should have... Cena should have done that just to poke fun.
At the Hogan thing, because he is the new Hulk Hogan. I mean, he's 2 bad movies away from that.
He's already
there.
He just did another one.
He has not been a nanny. I'm sorry, he has not been a nanny. The second he's a nanny, I will say he's the new Hulk Hogan.
So who do you think's going to win? The soon-to-be nanny or the Tooth Fairy at WrestleMania?
Great question.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
You might want to throw that to the fans.
All right. Anything else on Vengeance before we move on?
Well, I think there was only one thing that I would do differently, and that was I thought it was really strange that they didn't really explain why Dolph was booked in back-to-back matches.
Because they needed to get Ryder in there.
I understand, but
and the fact that he used the best figure, one of the 2 best figures to go in for a tag team match. For a tag team title match, and he's also the U.S. title holder.
No, Garvin's right. Vicky could have gone out there and did like a 30-second thing. And
they just needed some kind of storyline to explain why a good friend of John Laurinaitis was all of a sudden, back-to-back matches. It just seemed strange. That's all. I think they could have done that better.
No, you're totally right. Yeah, I mean, Vicky comes out, does a 30-second thing about it, and it solves the problem. But yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, that could have used some explanation. All right, Raw. Kevin, go.
Decent.
Okay, let's move on to main news.
Triple H's promo was good to start off the show. I liked it, except the cheesy "you broke my heart." I was like, "You broke my heart, Fredo!" Like Total Godfather 2, him kissing Nash. That's like when I got it. Laurinaitis just continues to suck the life out of every promo too.
God, he's so terrible.
It's terrible. And here's the thing: I like the character. I like the way that he's portrayed as that he's totally company, he wants to give the fans what he wants, but he's trying to stay in the line. So he does this good bad thing, you know. I mean, but he's so terrible. I mean, you could just tell they like Punk working with him. He could tell he's like, dear God, let it end. I mean, it's just bad.
He's Vince McMahon without the charm. That's what he is.
A whole lot of charm. I mean,
that's what he is.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't have it right now. I mean, guys can work with him. Vince can work with him, whatever it is. Maybe they can make him into a better microphone, but right now it's just dragging the show down, and I mean bad. You know, Joe mentioned this. The John Morrison burying is just to an absurd level. Now he loses to Barrett on 2 shows instead of 1. Match-wise, it was there was some decent stuff, nothing to write home about. Cena, for whatever reason, has taken on both Miz and R-Truth since they couldn't find another partner. You know, so nobody would want to help out Cena. I mean, I'm sure that's, really realistic. Can't help their career at all. CM Punk promo was good until Laurinaitis fucked it up. I don't know. The big reveal at the end of The Rock, where Cena decides to, like, spit a bunch of lube on the mic, that was pretty cool.
Man, that was cool.
I mean, it was decent, and this is the second show in a row that in my opinion probably would have been better if Laurinaitis doesn't drag things down. So that's the big thing to me. Another thing I want to mention is I really think it's time for Santino to have a gimmick change or to become a more serious contender. It worked for him for this long, which I liked, and I thought it was good, and it really got the crowd behind it. But if you want to be taken seriously, I really think it's time for a gimmick change and for you to say, even if it's a heel turn, I don't know what it is, but it's time for you to say, I need to be taken seriously as a wrestler. I need to be taken seriously as a performer. It just, at this point, it just to me looks bad. So
I would agree with you on that, Kevin. I mean, he started off as a good heel, and he started out doing Santino's Casa when they were doing videos on WWE.com, and he was phenomenal in those, and that's where it led to this comedy role. The dude actually is an accomplished MMA fighter. So
that'd be a great gimmick.
Wouldn't it? I mean, you could team him up with Kozlov again if you hired him back. It's either that or you're going to have to hire back Eugene and make them a tag team.
Or dude,
because,
they
damn.
can finish with the rear naked choke, sure. I mean, people will be able to relate to it, but yeah, Joe, that's a great point. Maybe go with the gimmick change somewhere along those lines. But just right now, it just looks bad. It's not working after the time off, which was good. I'm glad he got it, and he probably needed it, but he needs something new now. I can't take him seriously with the way that he is. So they need to do something with him because he deserves it. He's very entertaining.
He is. But I want to ask you one question since we touched on women's wrestling and Impact and the women's match at Vengeance. What did you think, if you watched it, because we know you don't really watch women's matches anymore, Alicia Fox beating Natalya?
I think I didn't watch it, so why doesn't somebody else give their opinion?
I think they're leading to a possible Natalya versus Beth feud because Natalya keeps losing. I don't know. I don't think that they're trying to push Alicia Fox into the next challenger. At least I hope not. But I think it's the opposite. I think they're trying to push Natalya as the loser of the group.
Now, when you guys think about that, keep in mind that Awesome Kong is due to be returning in a few months.
And so that's when I will start watching women's matches. WWE women's matches.
No, I mean, yeah. So if you're thinking, if you're going to put it on like, Natalya or the Glamazon, you got to think in the next few months. I mean, Awesome Kong should be returning, I want to say, around WrestleMania.
The only thing I can think is they're going to try and do a slow tease with it.
So that,
I mean, because you can't, if they did it in the next month or two, Natalya versus Beth, it's too soon. I mean, because then you have nowhere to build until Karma.
So, okay, so, yeah, and then you gotta wonder if they're gonna start kind of rehashing the storyline they had started, or if they're gonna have to start with something new, which would be kind of sad, because that was such a great storyline they were going with that. Alright, so now it's time for the main news. Okay, so Monday night on Raw, they officially announce Rock teasing with Cena for Survivor Series. Now, officially announced is kind of weird when they also officially announced it on Facebook like a month ago, and there have been teases and rumors about it for a few months now. I mean, you got to think, Rock was talking about it like 2 months ago, and then it was basically, it was like semi-confirmed like a month and a half ago, and then it's on Facebook, and then, I mean, we were talking about it on the show, and then now it's officially official for reals now, guys. I'm serious, on Raw. Do you think, I mean, WWE has been pushing Twitter and Facebook like it's going to make their dick bigger. So why pre-announce something on those two networks and then announce it and pretend like this is news?
Because they're retarded and for some reason think that people forgot.
Yeah, that's a non-answer.
It's a Google search away, WWE. Seriously?
I don't like it either. I think it's pretty dumb. But, you know, you probably want to make it official on your biggest show. Maybe there's people that don't check the dirt sheets. Maybe they don't like WWE and Facebook. Maybe they missed the post. I don't know. I think it's pretty retarded as well, and I think it's pretty stupid of them, particularly to ruin a storyline like this, particularly if you want it to be a big reveal on your biggest show. But I guess I want to make an official thing, but, you know, I understand the WWE stance if they're trying to go towards social media. This is genius for them with the type of product they have that really needs to go live, that really has a lot of fan interaction. It's a very, very good idea to use these mediums, you know, the way they've used YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, but this doesn't make any sense at all. You know, the thing that we all said, particularly last year leading up to WrestleMania, was the Rock reveal blew our freaking minds. I mean, our heads exploded. So, you know, why reveal this early and now you got to make it official? I don't know.
Yeah, to us, it doesn't make sense. To the dirt sheets, it doesn't make sense. But when we first talked about, you know, them announcing that The Rock would be at Survivor Series on Facebook, and I could be wrong, but I think we all agreed that announcement wasn't necessarily for the casual or the firm wrestling fans like we are. It was for the casual or the Rock fans who were fans of his movies, not necessarily that he was, you know, a wrestler. So I think now they're just trying to bring it back to us. And unfortunately, yeah, because it was revealed earlier, it doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't have that impact that it should have had, which is sad because that would have been awesome, despite Cena spitting all over the mic. Really disgustingly.
So gross. It makes sense if WWE would play it like, oh, as we were talking about, or news that broke on Facebook. If you had liked us on Facebook, you would have known this before all your friends. If you would have been on Facebook, you would have seen it, but you didn't hear any of that. It was just, oh my God, Cena made a decision that we talked about 2 months ago. It was so weird how it was handled. It wasn't that the announcement happened Monday night, but that how it happened, how that Cena, you know, I'm going to be crafty and I'm going to pick The Rock, you know, and get your goat.
Well, and I think it was also at the cusp of them trying to see what they could do on social media. And really, there hasn't really been a lot of talk about The Rock coming to Survivor Series. It hasn't been that big of a deal. So I think maybe they did expect that a lot of people would have forgotten that, or it wouldn't have been as you know, on the forefront of everyone's mind, which it was, anyways. So.
Oh, absolutely, it was. It's The Rock on Survivor Series. I mean, what was the poster? It was they'll team together, never before, never again, or something like that. I mean, it was basically the poster teasing it. You know, so it just seems so strange that they would have something so set in stone, announce it on Facebook, then 2 months later have Cena trick everybody by saying that that's who he was going to pick.
Yeah, it's almost as if they understand how important social media is to their overall plan, and then fail to realize that everyone read this already, everyone saw this. So I think it's just a disconnect.
Yeah, and the other thing that seems strange is that it seems like every week all we get are WWE. Did you know that WWE has a bigger presence on Facebook than Jesus? I mean, and then they announce something on it, and then what? I mean, it's like you push this, you hammer it home. I mean, they hammer Twitter like they own stock in it, and it's just like they're so ham-fisted about it. Then they announce something on it, and then they make it a big reveal 2 months later. It's like, I mean, if you acknowledge that it was on Facebook first, yeah, but it seems so strange. So strange.
What I'd love to see them do is actually, right before, let's say, Cena's going to do some big reveal on, like, him and The Rock are going to go do it or something like that. Or let's say Mick Foley's coming back and John Cena's going to be the one to announce it. What they should have him do is come out to the ring and be like, blah, 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 blah. Hey, everybody, check my Facebook page right now. And then say, well, for those of you in the arena without a smartphone, and for you those of you at home who aren't in front of a computer, this is, Mick Foley's going to be, I'm announcing that Mick Foley's going to be,
So he does it right there in the ring?
Like, do it on Facebook briefly before he announces it. And, like, kind of hit that. That way people are like, oh, my God, I got to check their Facebook all the time because I don't check my Facebook enough. Like, no. Too many people check Facebook too much.
It's time for Quick Hits. All right, everybody, it's time for Quick Hits. For those of you guys new to the show, each one of us is going to get 30 seconds to sound off on a news topic. If there's time afterwards, we'll scream at each other for a bit. First item on the docket. Okay, this one's a little bit far out there, but just hang in there with us. Triple H name dropped Sean Waltman on Raw. Now, with both The Rock and Foley coming back, and Diesel making his name known, obviously, and Shawn Michaels still being technically under contract with WWE, there's a couple names missing here. One of those is working for TNA, but another one is in WWE rehab, and that's Scott Hall. They're only 2 members away from the Kliq. Now, do you think it would be a good idea? I mean, in an ideal, perfect world, would you like to see the Kliq once again in WWE? They're only 2 people away. Garvin.
In an ideal world, sure. I think it would be great. But realistically, I'm not interested in seeing it. It's the same thing where we're not interested in seeing Hogan in the ring anymore. We're not interested in seeing Flair in the ring anymore. We're not really interested in seeing Nash in the ring anymore. No one wants to see old people in the ring anymore, and that's... I don't think it would be a good idea. No, I don't want to see it.
Okay. Kevin.
In an ideal world, no. In the real world, hell no. And it's exactly what Garvin said. The last time I saw the band in the ring, damn! I mean, Hall's gut looked like it could crush most midgets, like if he fell on them. Nash just looks terrible. Waltman, oh boy. No, I don't want to see this. I understand the questions because the name dropping's been a pretty big deal, but no, please, no.
Joe.
No, I don't want to see this shit. Seriously? I mean, Scott Hall's like a bloated potato with, I don't know, with a disease. No. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see any of these guys. I hope I don't ever see Sean Waltman again. Because he smells. I don't know. No, it's a bad idea. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, sure, we'd love to see Razor Ramon, but fuck it, no.
The thing about the Kliq, though, for me, is that it was never really something that was acknowledged on camera. It was one of those IWC things that we all kind of knew that these guys really loved each other and hung out and that type of thing. So bringing the Kliq back would be kind of cool if these guys were healthy, but they're not. I mean, I think it'd be kind of interesting as far as maybe a reunion show where these guys host the show or something, because, I mean, these were, basically 5 of the most important wrestlers in WWE for a time in the Attitude Era. So, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to at least see them honored in some way. All right, next item on the docket. WWE Creative is apparently thinking of running a program between Booker T and the IC champion, Cody Rhodes. The angle may kick off as early as, Friday's SmackDown in Houston, which is Booker's hometown, so don't look for him to win. Part of the reason WWE is doing the feud is to plug the Best of the King of the Ring DVD set, which Booker T is apparently hosting. Booker T and Cody. Who's pumped? Garvin.
I am. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Except for that contradicts my last point that I don't want to see old people in the ring. But I think Booker T probably has one last good match in him. And Cody Rhodes is quality. And they have been building up a pretty good storyline, outside of the ring and commentary and everything. So I wouldn't mind seeing that, but that's it. No more after that.
Okay, Joe.
After the main event Mafia, I can't imagine that Booker has a good match left in him. He barely did any training on Tough Enough. That we saw anyway. I mean, he could have been doing a whole lot. I don't want to see it. I think Booker's past his prime. I think the only thing he's got left is a Spin-a-Rooney. And if he does come back, God forbid, he brings Sharmell.
Awesome. Kevin, go.
Yeah, I'm completely with Joe. My issue is Booker T in shape to do this, and the problem that I have is Cody Rhodes is doing such phenomenal work right now. Why wouldn't you put him against somebody you really think he can work well with? I'm not saying he can't work well with Booker T, but the guy's been in the ring for a while. He's up there. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't want to see it either. I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin entirely, but not. I mean, I don't know if Booker T's got a match left in him. I mean, he seems to be in relatively good shape, and I mean, the guy has quality. I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't really go away on its own; it kind of fades away. But anyway, Cody is on a roll right now, and you got to strike when the iron's hot. And I can't imagine that you would then take Cody and the IC title off the docket for possibly a month and a half to 2 months, and then put him in this. So you're taking Cody's rise to fame and putting on pause to bring back Booker T. Not a good idea. All right, it's time for the indies, the wrestling news that we wanted to talk about, but weren't important enough to put in the main show. Item number one, while watching John Morrison suffer another loss on Raw Monday, former WWE talent Sean Waltman, hey, there's that name again, attributed basically his struggles to him dissing Trish Stratus again. Waltman wrote on Twitter, quote, "Eventually they will take Morrison out of the doghouse. He brought it on himself with the way he treated Trish Stratus at WrestleMania." Trish confirmed basically cold shoulder gate, I guess is what we can call it, by saying that she was shunned but semi-understood that, I don't know. It's weird. She's kind of contradicting herself anyway. Fans of Morrison or friends of Morrison are saying that they're shocked that he would do this, that he took her spot. I guess the quote being bandied around is that he said, "I'm not feeling that," which is something that Hogan would say in WCW, which basically said, "Get the hell out of my face." So, there you go. As we mentioned earlier, last week's Impact drew in 2.2 million viewers, which was second only to the Jersey Shore in its time slot on Thursday night. So I think this is evidence that Rob watching is the hex on TNA. So Rob, don't watch TNA anymore. Livelihoods depend on it. What should we put him on? Ring of Honor? Let's put him on that. What's the midget wrestling show that Hogan has?
Yeah,
yeah.
God, my DVR's so
Rob,
fucked up
you're
on
watching
that
that from now on. Garvin, you'll take care of Impact. Look, Garvin watches Impact, reports on it, 2.2 million viewers. It's the beard. Garvin's beard.
Team Beard.
Team Beard.
And it was the show that Eric Young finally came back, so, that's
Team
all
Beard.
me.
It's all beard. But beards are looking up. And where's Rob's beard? We don't know because he doesn't have a webcam. So I'm willing to bet he's clean shaven, meaning fail on him. He's watching the midget show that Hogan has. Who's ready for some boardroom drama? Okay, this gets complicated. Spike TV officials have reportedly lost a lot of faith with Dixie Carter after she pushed them away on the main event Mafia, getting that back together last year. She promised that she would have Booker T and Kevin Nash locked into contracts, and then King of the Ring happened. Oops. So Spike TV representatives, officials, no one really knows who that is kind of pissed at, Dixie Carter, lost a lot of faith in her. And so now they're going to Eric Bischoff, giving him more power in TNA these days because Spike TV is working directly through him. Oh, okay. So look for that to come to a CBS procedural near you. With Gail Kim being added to TNA roster, she announced that, quote, they say the wrestling biz is like a roller coaster. My prediction, women's wrestling in the next year is going to start rolling up that hill. Totally behind her, man. I think she's got it right. And Spike Dudley has a new business. Basically, he retired from the ring last year and he went back to school for financial planning. He started his own business and he's looking to help people out. Quote, with today's shaking economy, having a good advisor can really solidify you and your family's goals. Anyone looking for help and advice in all areas of planning, retirement savings, college plans, mortgage acceleration, etc., lend him a line. No word yet, as if Ric Flair has given him a call. And that's the Indies.
Pretty impressed. Impact 2.2 million viewers. That's a lot.
That's a shit. And they,
we've ripped Impact from here to high heaven this entire year. Give them credit for pulling in viewers on what would be one of their biggest shows right after their biggest pay-per-view. I mean, does this say that Hogan still has relevance out there? I don't know, but 2.2 million views, that's a lot of people on a cable show.
Look, number one show on Impact, apparently, as far as number of viewers, was that show, Hogan being face. Second most popular show when Hogan showed up on Impact. As much as we malign the guy, he puts eyeballs on the screen.
It's only a question of the staying power to me. I mean, that's what I ask. Is it just this one where they all just wanted to see him in the red and yellow again?
Yeah. I mean, correlation doesn't equal causation, but it'll be definitely to see what's going on next week. And you got to think, this past week's Impact blew. 40 minutes of segment. Anyway, all right, you guys ready for win fail?
Win fail.
Win fail.
Wow, guitar solo. All right, time for win fail. Your win of the week, Joe.
My win of the week is Cena's big fat loogie that he let go onto the mic and didn't wipe off his face. Why? It was so disgusting and so wrong. It's win.
And that's the end of my beer. Thank you, Joe. Kevin, your win of the week.
My win of the week is Impact Drug 2.2. I mean, that's really an incredible feat on a cable show. That's a lot of people. I don't know.
Especially when last week only drew 2.2 people.
Yeah. I don't know the reasons for that. If it's Hogan, if it's, people are interested. My guess is that people wanted to see Hogan in the red and the yellow. Maybe the word got out there a little bit. But give him credit. 2.2 million people. That's a lot of people. And good for Impact. And we'll see what happens going forward if the ratings sustain.
Okay, cool. Garvin, your win of the week.
Yeah, and to further on that, this was also right after Hogan did a lot of media appearances over the last 2 weeks. He's just been on this media tour, so I don't know if that is part of it or not or what, but yeah, I agree. My win of the week goes to Vicky Guerrero, who, after watching the Bobby Heenan DVD over the last couple weeks, I think she is definitely being pushed as the next Bobby Heenan, and I think she has what it takes to be that type of manager. It seems like everyone around her does incredibly better with the crowd. She gets a lot of heat, and she's just that type of person where you love to hate her. And Michael Cole did mention on Raw that it's quite possible that she could have her own show on the WWE Network, which is something that Bobby Heenan did. He had his own show. So I think she's taking the right route to be awesome.
Heenan had his own show?
Yes, he did.
What was it called?
I believe it was the Bobby Heenan Show. This was back in the day, when they had more TV airtime, they could do more stuff like that.
Yeah, where they actually had, do you remember the funeral parlor with Paul Bearer?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they had the Bobby Heenan Show, and it was like a bad Tonight Show.
Oh, yeah. He was making fun of Carson, right? Or he was kind of doing Carson's shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, that was a while ago. God. Okay. Well, that'd be cool if she got her own show. Anyway, my one of the week is Orton and Sheamus versus Christian and Cody Rhodes on Raw. Spectacular match, especially after a pay-per-view where all four of these guys had really hardcore matches, with the exception of Orton. On the pay-per-view the night
Then
before.
apparently Cody would be the same route?
Well, no. Cody carried the match, so Cody had to carry Orton, so Orton just could kind of lounge.
Gotcha.
See, that's where I'm coming from. Basically, Cody tried a lot more on benches. Anyway, There were a couple of bad falls and a couple botches, minor ones. I mean, Cody had a really bad hit on his lower back at the beginning of the match, but it was still an amazing match, especially after a high, just a top draw pay-per-view like Vengeance, where all 4 of these guys, well, 3.5 of these guys, brought their A game on Vengeance, and then again on Monday night. And you can tell Sheamus, Christian, and Cody especially were pumped for this match, and they got Orton into it. At the end of the match, Orton was all about it. In the beginning, you can tell he was kind of cruising, but near the end, he was game face. All right, fails of the week. Your fail of the week, Kevin.
My fail of the week is the current Santino persona.
Damn it, that was mine.
It's just not working. He needs a gimmick change. He needs something, and I hope they do it because he deserves it. He's good. He's very entertaining. He's got a lot of energy. So I really hope to do something with him because he needs it, and it's bad right now. He's failing.
Joe, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is the Impact main event. Not because James Storm won, but the way they did it. To see him get pummeled in like a 3-minute match, if that. I mean, this is like Sting versus Jeff Hardy. Hardy's high on something bad. He gets pummeled and all of a sudden super kick, and that's enough. If you're going to have Storm be a credible champion for whatever length of time they're going to do a title run, because we don't know, at least I don't know how long they're doing his title run. If they're going to make it credible, they really should have had at least some more back and forth and not front-loaded the show with 40 minutes of talking plus another X amount of talking for a 2-hour show. Just for a world title match, 3 minutes is not enough.
Okay. Garvin, your fail of the week.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank both Kevin and Harrison for agreeing with what I said 2 months ago before he got into his accident, Santino, that they should change his character, but I was told, no, they can't change his character because he's good on comedy. Please. All right, so...
All right, we're 2 months behind. We got a word.
I'm sorry, 2 months? What? Get with the times, man. Stop living in the past.
Dude...
Next you're going to tell us that you wanted to bring parachute pants back, and you're all pissed because we won't wear them.
I was behind Santino's character change before it was cool. Okay, guys.
Good to know.
Are you honestly playing the hipster card? Did that just happen?
Yes.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 85, October 25th, Garvin played the goddamn hipster card on our show.
It's happening.
Now that happened, right? I'm not having a stroke. He actually played the hipster card.
Yes, it did happen.
Oh,
all right, so I have 2 fails actually. The first fail is Impact Wrestling, not just the ending, but the fact that they're obviously not getting over with the live crowd, and instead of just accepting that or trying to do something different to pump up the live crowd, they just pipe in this audio, like all these cheers, and it's the same loop over, and it's like a 10-second loop, and it's so annoying, especially at the beginning of Impact, because it overplayed like Dixie, it overplayed Sting, like it was louder than the people talking. So that's the first fail. Second fail goes to the WWE shoving Twitter down our throats. The entire show, it's like 50% of Michael Cole's dialogue was talking about Twitter, the things going on Twitter. Then all of a sudden these Twitter bubbles appeared on the screen as if we weren't watching a wrestling show and should be actually, experiencing the wrestling match. So, that's my fails.
Damn it, that was my other fail. Yeah, there was popping up. There was like pop-up video on VH1.
I miss that show.
I don't. A lot of really washed-up comedians that I don't want to watch anymore. Although I was looking forward to... anyway. All right, my fail... God damn it. My fail of the week's getting robbed. My fail of the week is Alberto Del Rio. Can this guy possibly get a clean win? He's the world champion, and he's getting
He's a epic heel.
Yeah, I know, but you can still be an epic heel. I think it would give so much more credibility to him. Look, Miz got clean wins. Orton got clean wins.
Not many.
Yeah, but he got at least one. I mean, all I want is one from Del Rio. It doesn't have to be against Super Cena. I accept that's not going to happen. But, I mean, against somebody, he's got to get at least one clean win as a champion. Miz got it, and it solidified him as a legit.
He did. John Morrison.
Yeah, John Morrison. I was just going to say that.
No, I don't think Del Rio's had a match within the past 3 weeks? Outside of Vengeance? 3.5? Maybe 4 weeks?
Come here, Google.
Look. I will be honest. If Google robs this fail from me, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because Kevin stole one, Garvin stole one, and if Google takes one...
September 19th, 2011.
That was a month ago.
Still kind of works.
I said within a month, about a month or so.
Within 3 weeks, Harrison, I got to give it to him.
Yes. Thank you, Kevin. Question of the week. Rude or Storm? Who would you rather have the TNA heavyweight title?
That's an easy one, but
really?
I'll save that for Facebook.
No, I mean, is it a really easy one?
For me, yeah, I think Rude is a much better guy on the mic, and I think he's a better worker.
You guys agree?
In my opinion, and as for a singles competition, yes, that's my thought.
Kevin, Garv, you agree with that?
Yeah, I would pick Rude.
Yeah, I don't really like James Storm. I don't think I ever liked James Storm at all.
You don't think this could be his breakout moment?
No, not really. But I think this is the catalyst to finally seeing Rude versus James Storm, and it's kind of disappointing that they put the title around it, but I think that's a good thing to fight over.
Do you think they might bring back Wildcat Chris Harris again?
No, not at all. But I think I was talking to Diva Jill about this on Twitter, but this would be a nice opportunity for Robert Roode to break away from Fortune and join up with Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels as the heel group.
Thank you. I didn't think about the joining Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels, but definitely breaking away from Fortune. I think this is a breakout moment possibility for Storm. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. All right, well, that's going to be our question of the week. We're going to have it up on Facebook. As always, these spur massive amounts of intelligent dialogue and debate and lots of dick jokes. Lots of dick jokes. Anyway, Rude or Storm, who would you rather have as the TNA Heavyweight Champion? As always, you can hit us up on Facebook. That's facebook.com/FTW Podcast, twitter.com/FTW Podcast. We live tweet every wrestling event except for Ring of Honor and the weird ones like the midget wrestling one. And then what's the Lucha one that's on MTV, Joe? Yeah, we don't live tweet that one.
Lucha Libre USA?
Yep.
No, I'm not even watching that.
We've kind of forgotten that one exists. You can call us at 313-444-FTW4. That's 313-444-3894. And like everybody else, we got an app. That's right. You go into iTunes or whatever the hell cardboard box and duct tape solution you have for you Android users, and you search for the FTW Podcast. As you can tell, I'm an Apple user.
I think I'm the only Android user.
You are the only Android user.
No, Scott also is an Android user. Hey, go over to iTunes and rate the show. Let us know what you really think. We could use the ratings because nobody's been in that thing for months.
You can rate us on iTunes. Look forward to that. And definitely check us out on the FTWpodcast.com. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we get the hell out of here? Can we just go?
Get the fuck out of here!
Ninja, please.
And that's the best ending of the show.
Ninja, please.